Hi and welcome to the Market Alert for Tuesday the 23rd of May 2023. So markets in trepidation mode ahead of Biden-McCarthy debt limit meeting, which is to take place I think today. And the other headline, US stocks finished mixed amid the debt ceiling overhang. So like I said last week, it's going to start dominating the news. And it certainly is at the moment. US stocks finished mixed with price action choppy as participants awaited the latest developments in the debt ceiling standoff and digested a slew of Fed rhetoric. So again, there was no news yesterday. So like I said, the market had to generate its own news and rumours to make its moves. So speaking of news, let's have a look today. Oh, it's flash today, isn't it? So yeah, it's a pain in the rear, this one. If you exit the market before the news, you'll see 8:15, 8:39, 9:30, 2:45 and then 3 p.m. We've got home sales and then Richmond Manufacturing Index along with this as well. So flash news today to dominate. It'll be interesting though because last time it got ignored and they just carried on pumping the market to the upsides, despite the fact that the data came out inflationary, which you can see there with the green numbers, but it was ignored. Okay, let's have a look at yesterday. A bit of a whistle-stop tour this morning because, as it said in the headlines, it was mixed and sideways. So let's have a look. So kicking off with the Dow, you can see there that we were up and down and finishing lower than the 5-bar moving average, the 50 and the 20 yesterday. And overnight, a bit of weakness there in this market as well. So there we moved up yesterday, managing to get through the 50-bar moving average in the 30-minute, only to come back but find support at the BRN, the close, just above the close, and also the 20-bar moving average, BRN 20-bar moving average close, and moving up to the DP where we found some supply coming into the market. So news, no news yesterday. This was just the Dow opening and just selling off, went down 100, 200, 300 points and then managed to find its way back. So there's another pattern emerging here with the Dow. It's selling off at the open, and that's because they're using the derivatives to pump the market up in the morning and the electronic market, and then when the cash market opens they get a better price, having inflated the prices of the shares or the stock values by using the derivatives on the stocks or the indices as a whole. So overnight, the market putting in a triple top, moving down to the close, where we're now oversold, and we've got a bit of demand coming into the market there as well. So might get a bit of a bounce off this, but you can see the amount of economic news we've got this morning, the flash news there from 8 a.m. In the German DAX, we have traded up to 78% of the all-time high bar here. Let me just put the all-time high back on. As I forgot to save it, and I'll just save that so it's in there. So we traded up 80% of this bar back, just on the one bar, as we hadn't got a low that we could use. We have now. We could actually draw from here and then project back, which I will do if the market starts to move in that direction. I'll be keeping an eye on yesterday's low. You can see the market still managing to close above the 5-bar moving average, but overnight some weakness has descended into the market, and you can see that prices are lower. There's the all-time high of Friday, the 16,298, and there was the close of Friday. Our market failed to move off this, moving lower, then bouncing back, which you can see there, managed to pick up to the upside in the cash market, and then this failed as the market closed back below the BRN and then moved down to, where did it go to? The low of Friday. Once we got to the low, this was retested. Huge volume in this bar as it went through, got people to go short as the market went through the low, brought the market back, and then you can see there rising all the way into the overnight. But from the overnight, from being overbought, we've got a 78-89% retracement. We found a bit of support at the DP there for a minute or two, and then the market broke. We've had one bar that managed to find support at the close, and then we drove through the close and now we can see the market moving down. So from here up to here, let's have a look. We're down at 78% retracement of this current move, and we're oversold, so don't be surprised if we see the market head back up towards the DP there. In the 5-minute charts, you'll see the market moving lower in the futures, then in the cash, and then they tried to bring the market back. It was a choppy session, but you'll see how the 50-bar moving average there became a resistance for this market, along with the selling to the left. Market moved lower, choppy session all the way down to the low, but when we got to the low, we can see how the market tested and then came back. And then here you can see as the Dow came on stream, we went through, we came back, and then the market just remained sideways to high. It was a bit of a boring afternoon, to be honest with you. And the market overnight moving up, and then currently down, where we can see that they've attempted already to try and buy the market back at the 200 MA with some buying here, but the market so far failing, having closed back below that 200, which is an important average. And now in the daily chart, in the 30-minute chart, this is 78%, and you can see the market just finding a bit of support there, oversold, and the momentum just starting to slightly pick up there to the upside. Yesterday's trade is £178.40, 6.93 on the profit factor, which is 67 to 33 win-loss ratio there. So half decent morning considering that the market was all over the place. Moving back to the US, S&P 500 trading up to the 78.89, where you can see there we've got that stopping point for the market at the moment. 30-minute charts yesterday very quiet in the morning. See where the cash market opened, very volatile actually. Then we went up, then we came down. Overnight we went back to yesterday's high, where the market found resistance with some selling overbought, and then we see the momentum switch to the downside to the close, and now trying to come off that 50-bar moving average with a bit of demand and being overbought, and a crossover to the upside. So at the moment the market sideways to lower for the S&P. There is a rumour of it going to 4,300 from I think it was either Goldman or Citibank, I can't remember now, but you have to wonder about those sorts of announcements because they're generally thrown out there to get people to go along, and then they'll come in and hit the market because they've got somebody to buy the contracts off so they can go short. In the FTSE 100, stuck in a bit of a range, still showing an uptrend there at the moment, but flattish along the top. You can see the market there struggling with the averages as well, 20 bar, 5 bar, and just holding above the 50, but certainly a quiet range for yesterday. In the 30-minute charts, we managed to move back up. We then moved back down to the S1. This was retested at and the BRN for the opening of the Dow, and then we managed to come back up, and then we've just sat sideways. Overnight managed to come back up, do a double top, and now sitting just below the DP there. In the currencies, GBP, JPY managing to move back up again yesterday, down on the overnight. In the 30-minute chart, you can see that we came off the low. They're so important, these areas of the previous day's low and high close. And looking at a chart without these on, and also the BRNs, it's just impossible. You can just see so much more information on where the market's actually targeting these areas, where the buy or the sell orders are going to be, and where the probabilities are going to lie as well. So we saw the market move down, we see the buying coming in, we've got a bit of downward momentum there, but the next bar we see further confirmation of this with more buying, then more buying, and then we see the GBP JPY having to drive through all of the averages there. We see it just getting through the BRN there, then we see the buying coming in, and this buying, as the market goes through these areas, will be taking out the shorts, and which adds to the momentum to the upside. And also here where you see this huge buying but the market goes no further, and that's purely and simply because as it went through there was lots of buy orders, and lots of sell orders, and if you're long the market, then you need to take the sell side to close the futures contract. So as it goes through, they get rid of all of the sell orders that are there, and then the market comes to the downside there, and you can see when the Dow opened there at 230, and then moving back up again, trading to yesterday's high on the overnight. A bit of, again, profit taking at this level, and the market moving down to the 50 EMA, having tested at the DP level. In the pound, stuck in a sideways range, but still managing to stay above the 50 bar moving average for the last 2 bars. Thursday of last week, the market was below it, and just coming below there at the moment. That means the dollar's still fairly strongish. Yesterday's action, you see the market trading down, lots of volume. Not an area where there is any major support here. We've just come through the DP, and we know they want to come back through the DP if they can. And that's precisely what we're seeing here. The price action alone was enough to indicate that they wanted to bring it back, and they did. We double topped here. Then we had the selling after being overbought with momentum starting to move down. And then we got back through the 200 MA all the way back down to more or less 100%, where overnight the markets moved higher, but failed to hold above the DP at the moment. Watch the low. That's going to be a crucial area. And tomorrow we've got the CPI from the UK as well. So in the dollar index, here you can see that we're already moving back up overnight. And yesterday the market holding above the 5-bar moving average for the dollar index as well, indicating that at the moment it's still bullish. It's going to remain this way while they're still faffing about with this debt ceiling nonsense in the US. That's the only thing that's lending support. Lending support to this market at the moment. And in the metals, as I've said before, it looks like we're going to go lower in silver. I don't know about the $20 that I said last week. You just never know. And I hear rumours that the short that was held by Citibank and JP Morgan is being handed to BlackRock. So you're not going to see the price of silver. If it is true, then you're not going to see the price of silver move up for some time. And overnight, you're seeing this also being moved to the downside, back to 78.89. Market needs to hold at this 89. If not, we go through it. And as can be seen overnight, we've already taken out the 2350, which was a very important area that I mentioned last week. We've taken out the S1 as well. It'll be interesting to see how the news affects this when it's released from 8 a.m. But yesterday, managing to hold, trading back to the resistance to the left. Then we put in a 78-89% retracement, and then we've just made our way all the way down. We did manage to bounce a bit at the 200 MA, but got trapped at the 50 bar moving average and the DP there. In the gold market, also retracing here. I told you that once they got it back below $2,000 an ounce, for the central banks to keep buying at a cheaper price, they're going to keep moving this lower as well. This can be seen in the 30-minute chart, mainly overnight, as we've seen with silver in the Asian market, where it's been hammered to the downside. So far, yesterday's session, we bounced off the DP up to the 200 MA, where the market found resistance. Then we came back through the close and the DP. We saw an increase in the volume as activity picked up. Bought back, but again failed at the 20-bar moving average in the close. When the Dow opened again, you can see this whipsaw action between the close and the DP. Then we saw them buy back in here. We retested and then came back up to the close. But overnight, as we just mentioned, the market down at the S2, which is interesting. Let's just have a look, see where the S3 is. So 1951 area would be very interesting to see if the market gets down to this level. And finally, gold-silver ratio moving up once more, as can be seen here. As yesterday, silver hammered more than gold. A bit of weakness there in this overnight, so that means that gold's getting a bit more of a pummeling than silver at the moment. So that's it for, just a whistle-stop tour of the action today. Let's see what the market has in store for us with all of the flash news today, as we start off in France, Germany, Eurozone, then over to the US at lunchtime. Okay, that's it for this one. As ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.